and welcome back to the Ales and Fails Twitch stream. That's the second time I botched that today. The Ales and Fails Twitch stream. The first time I didn't have an excuse. This time I have the excuse that I've been drinking for about an hour. My name is Ale Wolf, and joining us today once more in Eorzea is our friend of the stream, John. Hello, John.
Howdy.
Today we'll be continuing my ongoing campaign as I try to work my way through Limsa Luminsa using my arcanist. And let me just check my stream settings for just 1 second here. Okay, I think that should be fine. Alright, let's get this pony going. And now I remember, every single time I click on the screen it'll black out for just 1 second. You'll also notice that my camera is doing weird things. Hopefully it auto adjusts at some point. Okay, the world is currently full. Need 20 more people out. Here I might just reset my camera for just 1 second. You know what, I think that's fine. I don't think anybody's watching to see my old mug here. So John, what have you been up to in the interim?
Me not much, just, well, I haven't really touched this Final Fantasy character or played much Final Fantasy since, so. Really just in terms of like gaming, just playing some Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey.
And how is that going?
Going pretty good. I'm in the, I guess, the 3rd level. So, it's basically still just collecting demons and kind of trying to strategize the best way to beat the boss. So it's been going well.
Sounds productive. How far would you say are you into the game if you were to suggest a percentage of completion?
Probably less than 50% since it's a pretty long game, so maybe 30%, maybe 40%.
Gotcha. Much like I suggested last time, I should really take some good time to read my spells effects, but I only ever visit this while we're playing here. Grants an Aether charge. Increasing the potency of ruins. I think it was a tall order in the first place for me to start playing a pet class, but so be it. I find myself in some sort of bridge-like structure. I guess I didn't even quit in the home city. I don't know what exactly I'm doing here. Tactical planning. Looks like I need to go back all the way to the city. And to do that, I think I can cast my return spell. And while that's happening, I'm going to once again attempt to fix my webcam. Transparency. Maybe if I do an interstitial for just 1 second. And that didn't really do anything. I just try to focus it. I don't know why I expected that to work.
Do you have the latest driver software on your webcam?
No, I actually don't know that I've ever actually checked for that.
It's a good place to start because maybe the driver will let you modify the focus settings. Maybe the autofocus is just too strong.
Yeah, maybe. You know what? I'm just not gonna let it bother me. I'll live with it. So, I guess I forgot to do my usual spiel here, but today I am drinking a Bourbon Barrel Quad. And so this is a beer that I've had a number of times on the stream. It is a barrel-aged ale, which means that it was a beer that was processed in a barrel, which was originally used to harbor bourbon, and so it provides the beer with a certain sweet type of quality to it. Of course, it's already quite heavy. Quad, as you can imagine, is a suggestion of the idea of 4, and so it's not a single, it's not a double, it's not a triple, but it's a quad, and so it's quite heavy. The particular percentage on this is 12.2%, and so your average Pilsner on your everyday tap is about 5%. You can imagine that this is at least twice as strong as that, maybe more. Quite a tasty treat, almost like dessert, really. It's got that amber color reflective of the malts they're in. So currently I'm actually playing a quest called Tactical Planning, and it looks like it's a job quest. It's got that blue outline about the cross. Okay, there he goes. I certainly forget sometimes to summon Carbuncle. My one friend.
Never forget Carbuncle.
Never forget Carbuncle.
Carbuncle's a good friend.
So here at the ferry docks. Am I not anywhere near where I'm supposed to be? Wait a second. Okay. I was just trying to find my quest objective and clearly got derailed by another target. So, John, what's been taking your mind recently? Watch any good movies as of late?
I did watch Encanto.
That's that Pixar film, is not?
Yeah. Well, is it Pixar or is it Disney? I thought it was Disney.
I thought anything Pixar becomes Disney automatically.
No, I don't think that's how that works. I think there might be some people that would get angry at you for saying that.
I can't imagine that would be the case. But Pixar is owned by Disney.
Is it? I really don't know.
I was fairly certain that Pixar was bought by Disney a few years back. Let me Let me just confirm. Is Pixar owned by Disney? See, that's the most popular question. Ultimately, Disney bought Pixar for $7.4 billion in 2006. So, this has some history there, John. I don't know. I feel like if you say it's a Disney movie, it would have the same effect.
Oh, I did not know actually. So that's interesting. I guess that then that Kingdom Hearts 3 having Toy Story makes a whole lot more sense now.
You were playing Kingdom Hearts 3 and you were seeing the Pixar characters and you were like, oh, that's unusual. Oh well.
No, I just thought it was like an interesting collaboration, kind of like Smash Brothers or something like that. I mean, Solid Snake it is not a Nintendo character, nor is Sonic, but they still showed up.
That is true. There are some interesting collaborations out there in the world.
You could say our collaboration is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I suppose we do come from different walks of life, different microbiomes. We've been known to do different things in the past, and we finally came together. It was a brief elevator meeting where little did we know that we would undertake this project.
Yeah, several long conversations and several meetings.
Oh, I remember the meetings. But yeah, Encanto. What was your take on that? I did see it actually. How does it compare to other Pixar movies?
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was pretty. So visually, it was pretty amazing, and I also thought that the story was pretty. I actually felt like the story was kind of heavy for a Disney movie. Maybe it's just because of such a long time that I've seen Disney, but it felt kind of heavy. How. So you said that you've seen it already, right?
Oh, I've seen it. Are you going to go into spoiler territory? Do we need to put a spoiler tag here?
Potentially, I don't know yet because I was still kind of formulating what I wanted to say. Um, I just thought that it was kind of like I don't know, the whole idea of kind of having this one outcast from the family and then just kind of putting all of this. So it was two things, right? It was the first one is that there was an outcast of the family because Mirabelle, was it? I think the main character.
Yes.
Yeah, Mirabelle didn't get a gift, but then I guess now is a good time for a spoiler warning. So spoiler warning in case anybody has not watched Encanto.
Okay,
But
if you haven't watched Encanto, um, tune into the next episode.
well,
This
no,
might be an
maybe.
Encanto heavy episode. We might be referencing it for the rest of the show.
Well, maybe they can mute the stream, but if like you do a signal on your stream, like I don't know, maybe you do like a peace sign towards the camera, that would signify that we're done with spoilers.
Can it be rather? I feel like a peace sign is pretty common. How about like an upside down cross? Uh, that is sacrilegious and not something that people generally do.
I mean, it's your stream, I guess.
Okay. All right, go ahead. Spoilers.
Yeah, wait until the upside down cross, I guess.
Oh, so you want me to use the upside down? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Just use something. Anyways, so yeah, it was the aspect of Mirabelle not getting her gift that. So I didn't think that that was too heavy, but then the whole aspect of basically how the grandma put all of this kind of pressure on the other individuals of the family to kind of do their best at what they were good at, and then how they sort of, well, not how they sort of, they definitely kind of exiled Bruno because he wasn't kind of falling in line, and it just, I guess he was being more of a nuisance to the family, at least from the perspective of the grandma, rather than a kind of like a benefit. So that felt kind of heavy because it's like, wow, just dealing with kind of like the being ostracized by your family, but also all of this kind of pressure that family can put on is, I don't know, it felt like a pretty heavy subject matter.
Would you say it was relatable?
Somewhat, yeah, I would say that. I think everybody has kind of felt a little bit of that in their lives.
Would you say it was specific to the culture that they were trying to depict?
I mean, potentially. I guess I don't really have a good, I don't have a good idea of most Hispanic cultures. I mean, the stereotype is that it is somewhat like that, but I really can't say for certain. I've only been part of one Hispanic household and not several.
Okay. Considering the fact that you felt that it was a heavy subject, I guess I'm trying to, from your description of what you took from it, I am still not understanding whether or not you actually enjoyed the material.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I definitely did. I enjoyed the movie. It's just that I was surprised. I was taken aback by how heavy it was, or at least to me. It just felt like I don't know. I feel I feel like the difference between like Mulan, which was it was definitely it was well Mulan is a great story, but I think that kind of like that story of I guess dealing with kind of the societal pressures of being a woman and kind of trying to fit into that standard, I guess, is a heavy subject, but it didn't feel as heavy the way that it was handled because I guess it had Mushu and it had like I don't know. I felt like it had a lot more tension releases in that movie.
Hey, but
This one,
Encanto had Casita.
well, that's the thing. Casita didn't feel like Jiminy. Well, it didn't feel like Jiminy Cricket. Did not feel like a Mushu. Did not feel like I don't know what's. Didn't Moana have like a chicken? It didn't feel like that.
Fair enough.
It didn't have the rock.
It didn't have the rock, and that's something that you can't say from a lot of movies these days.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough. To be perfectly honest with you, when you said that it was heavy, I didn't actually think of the family elements, and that's not to suggest that I don't agree with your opinion. I think it's more about the fact that I think that a number of children's movies do, or in recent memory, have dealt with the weight, the pressure that families do put on you as a young person, which is not to take away from their power. I just think that is treaded ground. Um, I guess I have 2 points here. Number one, yes, I do think that you are correct. Before I take on this particular quest, let me just actually divulge my thoughts. I do think that while I understood that that was a heavy subject, I have to say that I thought that one aspect in which I thought at least deflated for me was simply the fact that the grandma was depicted, at least initially, as cartoonishly evil and ignorant. In the sense that she decided to outright blame Mirabelle for every single little thing. Which, I don't know about you, but I simply thought that it was a little bit unbelievable. Just the lengths in which she contorted the truth to try to use her as a scapegoat. Um, I thought that was just slightly unbelievable. So that's point
Yeah,
number one.
it did feel a little bit tacked on, but I guess it was just to get the point across that, grandma was the bad guy here.
Yeah, and yes, grandma. What maybe wasn't the bad guy, but certainly was the the hurdle to overcome here. So point granted, but the second idea was simply that I thought that while all of that was in a sense relatable and genuine, I think that the more interesting aspect from which I thought you meant the story was heavy was simply the fact that they only briefly touched upon the fact that uh, grandma's significant other died as a result of a war, which was fairly nondescript, but at least according to some reviews that I've actually read, is suggestive of a war that happened in Colombia. And it was done without a lot of description, which I think leaves a lot to the imagination, which in turns makes it darker.
Mm-hmm. That is true. I think that that is definitely also a dark aspect that I didn't really consider until you mentioning it just now.
And it's a sort of thing where, yes, we leave the war to this magical place where we are protected, but at the same time, it's like, did that conflict ever finish? Are we safe now? Is this something that we can move on from? And I don't think the movie ever really addresses that. Alright, I'm in some sort of cutscene. Some people are beating up this pirate. And I'm trying to save this pirate from being beaten up by people. Ah, but a hooded figure. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, this might be part of Organization 13. It's a masked mage.
Yeah, it might be.
Damage to me, even though I'm right up next to it.
Probably safe to wave back your viewers who were not wanting Encanto spoilers.
Did say that again?
I think you're good to wave back your viewers who didn't want any spoilers.
Oh wait, there's some finishing thoughts here. Well, hold on. I will do the upside down cross sign once I am finished with this battle. How about that?
Sure.
This is a story battle, John. Maybe I'm spewing some interesting Encanto tales. Like, hey, did Maribel actually have a miracle? And her miracle was to bring people together?
Well, I don't know. I've heard some I don't know. I haven't been convinced of some of the theories I've seen online where she was the house. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Ah, jeez, this thing is ridiculous. Ah, okay. So yes, upside down cross. Now that we're out of spoiler territory, would you then recommend the movie at least?
Yeah, I would recommend it. I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, I think I need to revisit, and actually, I am set to watch it one more time very soon. Well, soon-ish. What is time? I think I might have given it a bit of a terse perspective the first time.
Fair enough.
Okay, so watching a cutscene, this cat girl lady staring at some pirates. She's looking at the George Washington of pirates, I think. The tribes are planning to summon their tribals. And so I played my gladiator slash paladin up to level 30 back in Ulda. Um, and remember, as far as I got, one of the plots was that people were trying to summon primals. Is that just a common thing in Realm Reborn?
Well, it's a common thing throughout Eorzea, so this is not the last expansion where you will see primals.
Aren't primals really another Final Fantasy XIV's version of summons?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, the monsters that are summoned are usually reminiscent of Final Fantasy summons.
Gotta send out a message. Okay. A flower girl. Not heiress. What is the last non-MMO Final Fantasy you played, John?
The last non-Final Fantasy MMO?
Yes.
Well, probably played for an extended period of time World of Warcraft back when Warlords of Draenor came out. But after that, not much really. Right before I started playing Final Fantasy, right before they offered the free trial 260, I was actually thinking about playing a private server of Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, which is a really old MMO that actually got discontinued.
Well, I actually asked you if you played a non-MMO Final Fantasy, not
Oh, you should you should have stopped me. I thought you were
I
saying
thought
a
that I thought it
non-Final
was
Fantasy.
funny though, how you were talking about World of Warcraft as if it was a Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I guess so. Not really, no. I haven't. The last time I played a Final Fantasy may have been Final Fantasy 3 on like, I don't know, an iPod Touch.
Oh, that is
Maybe when I
painful.
was still in high school.
That is painful.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Final Fantasy, I'm assuming. At least the the other games?
Not that I'm not a fan, it's just that I've never really gotten into it.
Fair enough. Okay, now I know cat girl's name. Yishtola. Alright, we got through that. Let's move this here. So what are you doing on your end?
I finished my second or third job quest, and so now I'm just doing the main story quest. I'm nearby, well, I'm nearby this mine area, so I'm just collecting some ore.
So speaking of movies, have you got any interest in watching the Batman?
The what, sorry?
The Batman.
Is that the one with, that actor? The one that was in Twilight?
Yes, it is that one with that actor. His name escapes me.
Yeah, I guess I'd be interested to watch it just to see, because it's always interesting to see Batman takes, how different people interpret Batman, kind of like how different people interpret Joker. Not a fan of how people interpret Superman though. Not super interested in that.
Well, how many of renditions of Superman have you actually seen in your young life, John?
The one with Henry Cavill.
The best one, yes.
And then I vaguely remember the one with what's the name of that guy? The name of the actor who, after a short while, he became disabled.
Christopher Reeve.
Yes. There you go. I vaguely remember that one.
Well, I can't say that too many people are outright fans of any Superman depictions, but I think it's because they, in my opinion, they have a particular set of expectations. In my mind, the best way to see Superman is that of trying to come to terms with a differently abled foreigner, if that makes any sense. Somebody new to this particular place with a different set of abilities. and coming to terms with those abilities and your responsibility to everyone else, knowing that you are different from everyone else.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's kind of what they wanted to go for with the last movie with Henry Cavill, isn't it?
There was some of that. I did think that in the latter movies they did more or less make him fairly isolated, which in my mind didn't actually have him tangle with this particular aspect of the Superman mythos.
Yeah, I just think that in general, I definitely wouldn't want to be the kind of person that gets tasked with writing a Superman story, because I can't imagine how difficult it is to write a compelling story for Superman. Because it's basically writing a story with a fulfilling kind of like, arc of, a character overcoming something, but then the character that you're writing is just perfect in almost every way besides kryptonite.
Yeah, there are certainly some challenges there. But anyways, the Batman, I don't even know if it's out yet, but I know that there are reviews already. I am certainly looking forward to it. I'm just a fan of Batman in general.
Did it already come out?
Maybe. Not that I am visiting any theaters. Summerford Farms. Okay.
How's your Hades run going?
Well, I was playing it just now. I recently unlocked the assault rifle, which is an unusual thing to say out of a game based on um, Greek mythology. That was a fun weapon, but still not my favorite. I did get all the way to the third map during my last gameplay, and today I only made it to the second one, but I actually cut out early just to play this game.
Nice.
So maybe that first map is no longer really an issue. It's more of like a proving ground. Alright, gotta go back to the main location here. So perhaps this is age speaking, or perhaps this is a personal fault of mine, but I can't say that this storyline is grabbing me just yet.
It's fair enough. I mean, probably just doing mostly, well, at least I'm mostly doing just like fetch quests and kill quests, but the main story quests, the ones that usually deal with the main characters, is pretty interesting.
I am just slightly unhappy with the I feel like I have to digest every story bit through this very thick accent, this very Buccaneer accent, which I just, like I said, maybe it's the sort of thing where I'm just too lazy for it. Trying winch. Well, let's hope I don't need these story bits for the long run.
It'd be kind of funny if you need them. Like, if there's a quest that just has some trivia questions about what you just did, and you can't get past it unless
Right
you know
before
it.
you enter the final dungeon of the game, it's like, by the way, what did that wench at that pub when you first started tell you? This is critical to defeating the boss.
Well, no, in Final Fantasy fashion, it would be like, I remember all of my friends who helped me along the way, specifically this person who told me the key to defeating the greatest evil of them all.
Yeah, but of course the key would be friendship.
Yeah.
Inn room is now available. Why do I need an inn room?
Not sure, I've never used it personally.
Guild leaves now available. What is a guild leave?
I don't know, they explained it in the story, but this is the second time I'm playing the story, and it's the second time I don't understand. I think it's some kind of repeatable quest, but
So a
there's a
daily
little bit more
quest?
to it. Maybe? I'm not sure.
So what you're saying is guild leave is not something I need to do to play for a long time.
No, definitely not. Yeah, you should have enough experience by your main story quest.
Great, I have leveled up to 11. Skylift out in the middle of Nausea. I am so excited to leave to a place that doesn't have such thick accents.
I think the accents just get thicker as you play the game.
I don't remember these thick of an accent in Alda.
I think you're in for a rude awakening.
Yeah, I played Squaresoft games with accents before. Like every single character in Chrono Cross had a different accent, and that was fine. But this is just overwhelming. Alright, let's see what's next. Sky High. All the way in the middle, Lenosha. I have to go back upstairs. All right, and we are on our way. What is unexpected damage? Do you know?
I don't know, but that does sound like damage that is not necessarily tied to a specific element, maybe?
That sounds about right. Sure is a lot of traveling during these first early levels.
That is true.
Okay. Surely can't wait for us to actually team up here. Very close to level 12. Recover the million corn seedling. Megalo crab. Looks like a Celtus queen. Clearly, I chose the wrong time to take a sip.
What is that?
Just as I was getting ready to enjoy some beer, monsters started spawning as part of a story quest.
Nice.
Wow, I have died. That's unfortunate. Once again, never drink, then at the same time do something that might kill you.
That's probably good advice in general.
I guess back to try again. You know, I can't say that the map does a great job of immediately showing you where you need to go. You need to either zoom in or out of the main area in order to call the point where you need to be. And so if you zoom too much out, you're just giving very very figurative drawings of where you are in terms of the world, and it's a little difficult to place yourself. And then once you try to zoom back in, it actually asks you to specify the area in which you want to zoom back in, but you might not necessarily know where you actually are.
There's some weird looking cactuar here.
So have you heard much about that game everyone else is playing? The Elder Rings.
Yeah, I've heard good things, I've heard bad things, kind of nothing too out of the ordinary, pretty much standard fare.
So mostly people are liking it?
Yeah, I would say so, nothing too crazy.
All I really want to do is go to that part of the map. Why can't I just walk over there? Yarg. I have to say, there's some areas of the map here that look completely like you could just walk across a small bridge to get to it, but it forces you to do a vertical walkway about 3 stories. And here's me wondering, why can't I just drop? Is that... Okay. I'm always surprised every time I randomly join a fate.
Yeah, I used to get surprised at those too because it felt like something was happening right then and there that I needed to participate in.
Yeah, it turns out they're actually pretty normal. Do you actually get good rewards for completing the objectives on those? I have never actually tried.
Well, I think you do, but it's mostly just an alternative to experience, an alternative to questing, so. And usually you don't do it when you're doing the main story quest just because you get so much more experience from the main story quest.
Ah, new location. Life. I guess I didn't have to fight the enemies that originally killed me. I got whatever I needed by just touching them. So I guess that's a win-win. Resurrection. I guess I am level 12 now.
Very nice.
How about yourself?
I'm level 13.
Visit the Brewer's Beacon. Right, let's move on out. So are you following any good TV series as of late? Series in general.
TV series lately. You know, I don't have a really good memory, so I usually just like to pull up my Just Watch app whenever people ask me this question.
And what does that do? Does it actually record what you've been watching?
Yeah, mostly because I have it in a watch list. Let's see, what have I been watching? So I watched like the first episode. I actually watched the first 2 episodes of the second season of The Mandalorian. I still need to keep watching that. I watched the first episode of the 4th season of Better Call Saul, and the only reason why I watched the very first episode and kind of left it there is because I accidentally spoiled myself on the first episode, so I felt like I needed to watch it just to kind of get it out of the way. Kind of felt like I just needed to find out what happened next after spoiling myself. Apart from that, I did decide to watch yesterday evening the first episode of that. So how familiar are you with the Dungeons and Dragons group Critical Role?
I know of them.
Yeah, so I don't really follow them too much either. I know some of my friends who are really into them because it's basically just a bunch of voice actors who also do Dungeons and Dragons, so they do their funny voices or their cool voices while playing Dungeons and Dragons, so yeah, that's pretty cool. But I don't really watch them too much. I think I've only watched like a couple of their one-shot campaigns where sometimes they get like different voice actors. The one that I saw was actually one based on Lord of the Rings, which was I think it was a promotion for the latest Shadow of Mordor game. So they actually got funny enough, I have no clue why they got this voice actor, but the voice actor that they got to show up to play Dungeons and Dragons was the voice of Reinhardt from Overwatch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it was pretty fun listening to him. I think he may have played an orc, or maybe he didn't. I actually don't remember what character he played. It's been such a long time, but it was really fun to watch. So I definitely get the appeal of Critical Role, but I just don't really watch their like main campaigns. But yesterday I did decide to watch like this animated series that actually came out around one of their campaigns. It's called The Legend of Vox Machina. Have you heard about this show?
No, I have not. What's that about?
So it's kind of, I think it's supposed to be based around one of the campaigns that they had. And it's basically just their group of adventurers. But now it's animated, so the art style is kind of similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender. If you've seen that. It's kind of interesting.
That's amusing. So they adapt the animation to whatever story is happening. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched their second. Well, I don't know which campaign this was, but it's based on one of them. So I guess I can't really speak definitively on if it's like word for word or action for action of what happened in their second campaign. But apparently, it's supposed to be a retelling of it. So I'm certain that maybe they've kind of modified things here or there to make it work more like a story as opposed to kind of like a free-form Dungeons and Dragons game.
That sounds amusing.
It is kind of interesting. I watched the first episode and you can definitely tell when certain voice actors are playing their character, just because some of them, like for example Matthew Mercer, he doesn't have a character in the show. He doesn't have like a main character in the show because obviously he was a dungeon master for these games. But he does pop up here and there for like these side characters, and I can definitely tell whenever he's voicing a character just because I've kind of learned to pick out his voice, so that's pretty amusing.
That seems pretty clever to try to adapt an impromptu story. Oh great, I died again. I was killed by a bunch of chickens. To try to adapt an impromptu story into a proper story. And so you tell me that you've actually been entertaining a Dungeons and Dragons campaign yourself. Care to share any details on that one?
Yeah, I usually play with my friends, who's an entire group of like 7 people, so scheduling is pretty rough, but it is pretty fun. We're playing the published module, which is Curse of Strahd, so it's pretty interesting.
Are you guys in any way publishing any of this material?
No, not really. I mean, I've recorded a couple of the sessions and I've put them up on YouTube, but just unlisted for ourselves.
I see. Reminds me of the old days, back when Aelwolf was an ale lad.
An ale pup?
When Aelwolf was an ale pup, yes. And he used to have a D&D campaign that went up in podcast form. Geez, this is the thing. I can see where I'm supposed to go and the map, but the map fails to show me where I am. It's very frustrating.
It'd be easier to see where you're supposed to go if there was some kind of genie mage that wore purple robes and had a big gray beard and he had pointy ears, and then he said, "Here is the map." And then he kind of pointed it at it towards where to go. Would that help you?
Well, would
and then
this
right
genie
said,
in
we are off.
if this genie person is less of a mythical being and more of a person in a decrepit state, that might be slightly more believable. Maybe a person who has lived longer than their average life expectancy, and thus has become a sage in their culture, transformed into a mythical creature, but not one quite yet. I have to tell you, John, once I reach level 30, there is a fair chance that I might jump back onto my old character.
Really?
Yeah. There is something about this pet class that is just not clicking.
That's fair.
That's not where I needed to go. So what level can you actually get mounts and things like that?
It's fairly early on. I forget which level specifically it is.
Are you able to access them yet?
Right now, no, I don't believe so. I think once you are level 20 in your main story quest, I think that's when you get your chocobo.
Alright, well, it's quite a ways away with all this traveling. Jeez. Okay, so here I am. There's all these dodos everywhere. So I have to take them out one by one. Where's this carbuncle? Oh, there he is. Invulnerable. 2 down. Looks like these adventurers are killing all of them.
You know, we're talking about swapping out your class. I think honestly, for the next time that I play, I'm probably swapping to keyboard and mouse because I'm just not enjoying the gamepad too much.
Just not your thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Bomb claw. What is it asking me to do here? Deliver the bomb claw to... Okay, so maybe my part of this particular quest here is done. And there's my target. What? Why is somebody attacking me while I'm talking to an NPC? Here's your bomb claw. Bomb claw delivered. All right, what's next? Another long trek. killed by a giant enemy crab. But it might have gotten me closer to my target. If I could see myself on the map. I guess I missed an Ethernet shard. So when you're in a city map, how do you zoom out to an area map?
On the upper left, there should be an up arrow, which lets you kind of zoom out to the...
Ah, that's wonderful, thank you. Maybe that's what I've been missing this entire time. Oh my gosh, I'm unattuned. Alright, go from middle Lanosha to western Lanosha. That's gonna be another walk. Ah, goodness, it actually let me jump off the bridge. I am so satisfied despite the fall damage.
By the way, did you buy the latest expansion for this game?
What is it called?
Endwalker?
How would I be able to tell if I did?
Well, you either remember that you bought it or I I don't know.
I think that I might have had the expansion up until that one, and then from then I just renewed my subscription, so most likely not. Why do you ask?
Oh, gotcha. Just curious.
Is there some sort of command that allows you to skip through all this walking?
I mean, you could buy a level boost, I guess, if you don't like walking.
How does leveling increase your... How does leveling increase the fact that you have to go through this?
Well, you could also buy a story boost so that you don't have to walk through all this. You can just have a mount. You could have stuff unlocked. You don't need to do the main story quests.
I don't mind the story bits. I think it's more about just the distance between all of these things is just... It's just a little lengthy. Like, I remember everyone's favorite RPG, Final Fantasy VIII. And yeah, they did have very long sections where they would just talk. But the nice thing about that is that they would do it while they were on trains. Alright, back to Limsa Lominsa. You know, it's actually that's an interesting subject. The things that you notice when the time that you have is limited. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, like recognizing your own mortality?
Well, yeah, yes, that's always true. But what I'm trying to suggest is the things that would provide a point of contention when you have the time versus when you don't have the time for them. So, I guess back in my youth, when I had a bit more time to myself, I certainly wouldn't mind grinding for hours and hours on role-playing games. That was par for the course. And so an activity like that today would probably seem incredibly offensive simply because I don't have the capacity to actually undertake that kind of effort.
Mm-hmm. I see what you mean.
The game is the same. The game is probably better, but it seems far less appealing.
I guess that's kind of why they do offer the option to buy level boosts and story boosts because not to say that you should do it. I mean, you should do it if you want to, but it is
Are
kind of
you
an option for
advertising
people
for
who
Square,
just.
John? Is that what you're doing?
Well, if I am, I hope I'm getting a nice royalty because it's a big company.
Wow. Bought by Square. Okay.
Well, how would you feel if Square came up to you and said, "Hey, we see that you've been streaming Final Fantasy. Do you want to be a Square sponsored streamer?" You say no.
Is that the only caveat that I am streaming Square content?
Well, not solely Square content, because that would be kind of a weird setup. But
I feel like
maybe
if
they
somebody
ask you to
paid me
stream.
that was somebody as big as Square, I would most likely only stream Square games, actually. Like, I would
Well,
specifically go back to their PS2 era, early PS2 era, when they were trying a lot of things and, like, say, hey everyone, I'm streaming The Bouncer on PS2.
I guess, but maybe they would ask you to like stream one of their new mobile games, or maybe one of their new like mainline PS5 games. Isn't there a new like Final Fantasy or Final Fantasy related game where kind of like the whole kick of it was that there was this guy that was infiltrating like this medieval castle to defeat, I forget who it was, like this really recognizable Final Fantasy boss, like I think his name was Garland or something like that.
Yeah.
And so he comes in with like, I don't know, like some kind of weird modern getup, and his friends are also look equally weird, and then basically the main takeaway was that he wanted to kill Chaos.
Garland wanted to kill Chaos.
Well, this dude wanted to kill Garland, and Garland was the source of chaos, but the main
Garland
thing
does
that he kept
become
repeating,
Chaos, yes.
the main thing that he kept repeating is that he wanted to kill Chaos.
Uh, I see the story thread that you're suggesting. I don't remember what game this is specifically. Well, that sounds interesting. We should explore that, but unfortunately, I believe my time is up.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize for the pessimistic discussion today. Maybe just my head wasn't into the game, but one thing that I should do is just log on off stream and really rearrange my hotbars here because they are a mess, and when I am in battle I'm mostly guessing as to what I'm doing, and that is largely ineffective and frustrating. Um, but yes, I just reached level 13, so only 2 levels away until we are together again together in Paris, like Anastasia once said.
Or like Kanye and Jay-Z once said.
They said that?
Well, they said it, but they said it differently with another word that cannot be mentioned on the stream.
Okay. Well, I like to hold Anastasia in higher regards than Kanye. Thank you very much.
Well, I hold Jay-Z in high regard at least.
Okay, fine. So Jay-Z, then Anastasia, then Kanye.
Sure.
Okay, at least we have come to an assessment then. Great, well, let's go ahead and call this a wrap. Thank you everyone for tuning into the Ales and Fails Twitch stream. My apologies for the lackluster stream, particularly on my end. I certainly was a bit fussy today. But so it goes, so life goes. Tune in again tomorrow for some Monster Hunter hijinks. I am sure you will be tuning in, John.
Sure. During my downtime.
Wonderful. And with that, stay thirsty, Wolfkin. See you again.